What is going on, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Nothing Personal. It's just Buffalo. I'm your host, JTM. Got my co-host in the building with me, as we like to call him around these parts, NFL pedigree, James Mallory.
What
And
up?
yeah, man, we got a good amount to talk about tonight, man. Obviously, the Bills won the big showdown everybody's waiting for all season. This game was a game that was circled on the calendar when the schedule was released. Buffalo Bills versus Detroit Lions in Detroit. Um, Buffalo Bills coming out on top, 48-42, and I mean back-to-back weeks, a game coming down to really a one-side cake, possibility,
Yes.
right? Um, Not exactly the way Sean McDermott will probably draw it up, but the Bills got their 11th win of the 2024-2025 season. Um, Still sticking close to the Chiefs for the number one seed. Like I said, obviously we saw Mahomes go out this week, but he's two full practices. So we'll see what happens there. But we got a good show lined up for you guys tonight. We're going to be talking about, let's go over some of these topics now. Let you know what you're in store for. Ty Johnson. Ty Johnson becoming an unsung hero for the Buffalo Bills.
Yep.
We'll talk about James Cook. Scored his 12th and 13th rushing touchdown of this season. He's near 1,000 yards. Kyrie Elam and Cole Bishop step into roles. Starting roles. We'll review their play this week. The Bills' defense as a whole, we got to talk about this. This defense has allowed 96 points in the last 2 weeks.
Yes.
And I think either over 1,000 yards or just a little under 1,000 yards. Definitely something we got to talk about, the whys and how that's happening. And of course, number 17, Josh Allen continues this tear. Another 4 touchdowns this week. Darren Orlovsky from ESPN says the MVP race is over. Is what he says. But we're getting a little pushback for the Lamar Jackson camps on this one. So we got that story. We'll talk about a little bit more tonight. But yeah, let's hop right into it, man. All right. The Buffalo Bills went to Detroit. They tanked the Lions 48-42. A great game. A game that the Bills controlled. I would say pretty much throughout. Never really lost control of this football game. Only mishap I think he has probably that missed field goal by Tyler Bass right before halftime. As our guy Mike Beck likes to say, the Bills always seem to find a way to mess up the double dip. He's correct on that. But overall, James, 48-42 win. Josh Allen 4 touchdowns. James Cook over 100 yards again. 2 touchdowns included, and bust another long one. A lot of questions about the defense, but what do you see from this game? What you think? What's your thoughts? Let me know what you got.
Man, let's talk that talk, JT. Let's
All
talk
right.
that talk. Man, them boys held it down, man. At the end of the day, they did. Um, I'll start out offensively, right? We are doing, we're attacking people so many different ways, man. It's crazy, right? Passing game, running game, like very creative in the passing and running game. We're bringing it. We're using Ty Johnson effectively. He's playing great. We love we're thank you for the love there too, Charlie. Then we're using Ray Davis efficiently. Then obviously James Cook is balling out. Then you talk about the tight ends, JT. We talked about this a little bit on the phone. Um, I'm going to say he's it's good we didn't trade him or get rid of him, right? Because he's helped us, right? With Dawson, or excuse me, with Dalton Kincaid getting back healthy, playing his way back into being 100%. Um, think about that's why you keep guys like that around when fans just want to cut people, cut people, cut people. If we would have cut Dawson Knox or not even cut him, but traded him because he's not the number one tight end anymore, I think we'd have been screwed for a couple weeks. I really do. He's came through and made some big plays for us, which he should with the salary he has. Let's not get it twisted. But at the same time, he has, and that's why for somebody like that, he's a luxury. You can afford to keep someone like that on the roster right now. Why your number one tight end is on a rookie deal? Um, then the receivers, because Mac Hollins make plays after plays after plays, right? And then defensively, I'll get to defense, but special teams. We had a week where special teams lost us the game. Now we had a week where special teams won us the game. Special teams won us this game, y'all. Let's not get it twisted. Offense showed up, defense made plays when we needed them at times, but special teams won the game. Why? Number one, Matt Collins recovered the onside kick, and not only did he recover it, he took it down to the 3 yard line. That was huge. You get down 3 yard line, you score a touchdown, you put a lot of pressure back on them immediately. That flipped the game immediately, right? Momentum went right back to us after they scored a touchdown. Then the onside kick recovered by Tyron Johnson. Taron Johnson. When that happened, obviously in the game, those two special teams plays won the game. Those are hitting things that people overlook that literally won us the game. If they get that onside kick, first one, I think that shifts the momentum so much, we might have a problem. Obviously, if Taron Johnson doesn't recover, their offense was moving the ball pretty well. Huh? We don't know. So then we're gonna go to the defense where we had some opportunities there. My guy Kyrie Elam played and he did not play bad. Told you JT he was gonna start. I
No,
told you he was gonna play fairly well. I said it, JT. I said it. Um, I like to mess with JT about that, y'all. So in regards to that, he played pretty well. Benford, huge play, getting the ball out, creating a turnover, taking some momentum away from him. D line. I really, even though he's not getting the sacks, Von Miller, I like what I see out of him. I like the pop I see out of him. I think he's going to play a crucial role towards the end of the season. And then Ed Oliver, that was your milk carton guy. I think you got to start calling
yeah,
more people out for milk cartons, JT, because after you call them out for whatever reason, these dudes
hey,
show
hey,
up.
whatever
So
works, man.
yeah,
Yeah,
man, listen, he acted a donkey on Sunday. You heard me? He
yeah.
acted a donkey, like 10 pressures in one game, I believe it was.
Nine total pressures, one sack, two QB hits, and six hurries.
Yes,
His win percentage was 20.9 line of scrimmage.
yes. So with that, man, showed up and showed out. So I'm excited about it. I know Matt Milano left with a groin injury, I believe.
Yeah.
Was able to practice and everything though, so there's
Okay.
something to kind of keep an eye on. Dorian Williams, he was limited, I believe, in practice too.
Yeah, I think Balin Spector filled in more or less for Milano when he went out this game, so it's going to be something that are interesting to watch going
Yeah, I'm
forward.
wondering if it's because Dorian Williams was a little banged up.
Could be, or it could be because Dorian Williams doesn't cover as well. It was waiting to be seen
Yeah, yeah,
on
we'll
that one.
see.
Yeah.
We'll see, but otherwise, I think we'll be all right. We got to tighten it up, and let's not forget, y'all. It's not good that we allow so many points, but at least it wasn't to just average guy. The two quarterbacks we've won against are guys that's known to have big days past them. These dudes can throw the ball. They're cerebral quarterbacks, and they throw the ball. And it's not like we were playing against bums. You talking about Puka and St. Brown, led by those two. Jameson, Williams. These wasn't bum groups we've played against.
No. I mean, like I said, you do want to see a defense have better performance than what they had, especially the front four. You want to see that front four get to that quarterback if we can. I mean, that's really the way you stop these offenses. But I will say this too: at the very least, at least these two back to back kind of, you know, some will say bad defensive performances came against NFC teams. Um, but what scares me a little bit, and I will talk about this with the actual, we'll just hop right into the defense now. Um, what scares me about the defense and the way they're playing right now is obviously I've been saying all year that the Chiefs possibly get Hollywood Brown back. Well, Hollywood Brown full practice and full gear today. He's coming back. That offense is going to be a little bit stronger. Not saying they have enough to get by him, but that's the offense to get stronger.
Yeah, you've been
The
talking
Bang-
about that too.
the Bengals are coming up. The back end of the AFC. They're trying to seek themselves to the playoffs. People better be really careful with dealing with them. Um, And the other team, obviously Baltimore. We know Baltimore's going to break their table. We know obviously score. But specifically, those two teams in Kansas City, we get Hollywood Brown possibly back, and the Bengals possibly sticking at these playoffs. You have to be really careful because those two quarterbacks are just as good as these two quarterbacks, not better than these quarterbacks who just played these last two games. And both teams have weapons too, and you can't go into the playoffs and play that way. So I guess I'll have to ask the question: what is going on with the defense? Is it fixable? I have a couple theories of why it's happening, but I want to get your opinion on that.
I mean, I don't have an answer. I think it's too much of a bend on break, right?
Right.
At times, I think it's just. But you get into. I think when you get into a shootout with two teams that score the way they do, it really doesn't concern me, to be honest with you right now,
Okay.
because you really have two teams. It's who did it, right? That's the thing that doesn't concern me. If it was, now we come out here and then we talk about the Patriots throwing for 400 yards.
Right,
Now
right,
we got
right.
a concern, right? When you talking about two guys that they're, if you look at any given week and you see that the Lions or the Rams threw for 400 yards, would that be something that make you go,
No.
that's why I don't think it's the defense is broken. You have to really look at, and then there were shootout type of games, right? And let's be real here. If we told fans, most fans, that this team would be built for a shootout, that would have scared the mess out of them.
Yeah.
Our team is able to. We're built for a shootout if we have to. And think about it. We can win either way. That's something you talked about. The Lions being able to win. They can get physical with you if they need to, and they
Right,
can
right.
throw the ball. We can too. And I
True.
think we've shown we can do it at an elite level right now. We got three running backs that can run the ball.
Yeah.
And then a quarterback who's it's crazy when he, when he gets going with his legs. So, I don't think it's broken, so to say. I just think you got to give credit to the guys who we were playing against. I think you have to.
Okay. So I don't think it's broken nonetheless. I mean, this is a defense we saw in like 3 or 4 games before that was almost lights out. Right.
Mhm.
You got 2 back-to-back games on the road. I wouldn't say it's broken. I would say that a lot of it probably has to come down to getting healthy. That's probably that's the side of the ball that we're banged up most on. Obviously, this week we got Dwayne Smoot back, who I thought before he went out was playing pretty well. We just got Dwayne Carter back, who was also playing pretty well before he went out. Um, but I think there was a couple guys that we spoke about that were not playing up to the level they should have been, particularly Ed Oliver. We saw that this week, and we just said on the last week's show, we wanted to see him get going and when it was going to happen, and hopefully it did not stop. You know what I mean?
Yep.
D Dot, you got the D Dots in the chat. If you got the link, go ahead and join, and we'll get you on here when we get to outside. But
Yeah.
um, Matt Milano come back. We knew that Matt Milano would have to knock off Russ, but we also said that hey, we're gonna see how he plays in these 2 games, and those 3 games, these 49ers, the Rams, and the Lions, is probably the 3 games you're gonna be tested the most out of the rest of this season, as far as regular season goes. So you need to get him back in. Obviously, we have a growing issue. We don't know I don't know what the severity is. I haven't heard what the severity of it is. But I think part of the defense was him knocking off that rust
Yes.
and getting back in gear. Obviously, we have 2 safeties that were out with DeMar Hamlin and Taylor Rapp. You had Cole Bishop coming as a rookie. You had Cam Lewis move back to strong safety, and I mean Cam Lewis is still he played okay, but he's still not a natural safety.
No, he's not. He's
Okay,
not.
so I think that's part of it as well. So I don't think it's broken. I think like once again, it's going to come down to that front 4. Mm-hmm. If that front 4 can get to the point of the season, when we get to the playoffs, and get healthy and raise all hell, then that's going to make that back end a lot easier.
Yes.
Like I said, once again, no Micah Hyde, no Jordan Poyer. We knew that we were so spoiled with having those guys, and Tre'Davious White as well. That's not a knock on Christian Benford, who's playing absolutely, at the very least, top 10 cornerback playing NFL this season. Christian Benford is playing at that level. And obviously Rasul Douglas is out with Kai Elam stepping in this week. So, on the day, not too concerned with it. We got the W in one game. We almost got the W in another game. So really, reality, even with the defense giving the amount of points and that yardage, one game was a win, one game was a narrow loss. So, can't be too mad at it. But these last 3 games, New England, the Jets, New England again, I think we need to see those. I think we will see those yards come down, but I think we also need to see this defense get back in sync and get in that groove and as they make that playoff, go into that playoff run.
Yeah, I think Kareem Jackson played okay.
He did. I thought he stepped in and played pretty well.
He did. He played okay. You can see where they're breaking on us sometimes, where the age is there, right? I don't want to take nothing away from him. I think he played well. I feel very comfortable having that as an insurance policy. I feel a lot more comfortable if we got to call him up to duty later on. One of these games coming up here, Micah Hyde is going to be active. Which one we don't? I'm not sure.
You think so?
I think so. I think so. And I believe they interviewed him today talking about his padded practice and the ramp up. Ramp up for what? You don't talk about ramp up for somebody that's gonna sit there. He's going to come
Yeah.
out and play one of these games here. So they got to find out what's happening with that safety position in regards to who's going to be our guys. I really don't think they trust Hamlin. I really don't.
Yeah.
But we'll see. We'll see.
I mean, I will say this about Hamlin, okay? You could tell there was a definite difference in him not having him out there this week. But I will also say this as well. There was a couple plays that Cole Bishop made that you could see the levels of difference of their athleticism.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? Cole Bishop has damn near elite athleticism. He's very close to being at his position.
You can see him running around out there. That it's a different athletically.
Yeah.
It's a difference with having him on the field. Once he gets a better feel for it and he gets a lot more comfortable, he's gonna be a player, man.
Right. Like if he grasps that mental part of the game, and I said a couple weeks ago when we got Micah Hyde back, right?
Mm-hmm.
On the press squad, whether Micah Hyde played one game, the biggest benefactor of having Micah Hyde back on this football team, I don't care if it's practice squad, I don't care if it's coaching staff, I don't care if it's the janitor, was gonna be Cole Bishop.
Yep. You see, Micah Hyde was on the sideline during the game too.
Yeah, and this may be really behind the scenes. This may be one of the reasons they brought him back.
Yep. Absolutely.
Was to mentor this kid. Obviously, he did have the and actually we'll go to the next segment too. Here with the Cole Bishop and Elam stepping in. We did see Cole Bishop almost blow the deep route to Jameis Williams there. Very similar to the Nico Collins route earlier in the season in Houston. That's something that if you actually go back and you read his draft scouting report, sometimes he bites or he gets flat-footed on things as such. Would that be something they'll have to fix moving forward? But the fact that the athleticism of him being able to catch up to that, almost get back to that was a difference. If anybody else was in there in our safety group at that point in time, I mean, that guy's still, it's a 20-yard separation probably. I'm just being completely honest with it. So you see things that make your eyes pop and say, oh, okay, whoa. This kid, he's popping off the chart with this. But we got to get a little bit better. But Kyrie, man, this is the guy that obviously you wanted to see play. I didn't know he was going to get to start. Like I said, when McDermott was talking last week about possibly who earns and who doesn't, I thought it was a potential that Jamarcus Ingram could get the start.
Yeah, but I always thought, and not to cut you off, JT, so to fill everybody in, what JT and I usually talk about, me and him hop on the phone and talk, Bills talk hours a week, right? So I always thought, my stance was, I thought Kyrie Elam always was the third corner, outside corner. Mm-hmm. JT, we're having a discussion in regards to Ingram passing or not. I never felt Ingram passed him. I just felt that Ingram plays special teams. So you you activate him, and then if you need him in an emergency situation, you can play him at corner if somebody went down. But I thought if you have a depth chart, I think Elam would be your guy to be that corner that'll start if you had to start someone. I thought Elam was that, and it ended up proving right that he would get the start, and he did play well.
100%. Like I said, I wasn't mad at the way Elam played personally. If I can go over the numbers for you guys really quick. Let me pull up. I do have them here.
And JT, while you looking those numbers up, my prediction, everybody, I said next year, the starting corners, our future, the starting corners is Elam and Benford. I said that the year they were drafted. I'm still standing on that right now. I could be wrong. JT got another stance, but I think that those will be our two corners next year. If we can't sign, I just don't know if we'll be able to sign Douglas back. If we do, listen, I got zero problem with Douglas being there next year. If we roll out with Douglas next year and we draft, I'm good with it. But I think that Elam and Benford will be our corners next.
Well, I do want to go with Elam numbers. So for this game, obviously he was targeted 7 times. He had 5 receptions, 56 yards. He had one pass breakup. He had 2 pass play tackles. He had 5 tackles total, and 2 tackles that were targeting him on pass plays. He had the highest Bills coverage grade by PFF. Take it or leave it. I know some people don't like PFF, some people do, but highest grade is 68. Obviously, this is a game where we gave up almost 500 yards passing. So, I thought he stepped in. I thought he played well. Like I said, don't get me wrong. I've never said Kyer Elam was a bad football player. I don't feel he's a bad football player. I just feel that for whatever reason, this just has not jived here in Buffalo, and that happens. It happens a lot of first round picks. I think he's a talented guy. I just don't think he's going to be here past this season, and for me, it's for a multitude of reasons. I don't think he's going to be past this year because obviously they're not going to pick up his 5th year option. Okay, we know they're not going to pick that up. Secondly, I think that Kyer Elam comes from a football family. And I think the smart thing to do with him going into a contract year is I'm sorry, forgive me, Bill's Mafia, but if I'm his family members and I'm his agent and I'm his business people around him, I'm not going to sit in Buffalo and contend with anybody to start a spot here again when I haven't won that spot in 3 years going to my contract year. I'm getting out of here. So if I have to demand a trade, I have to increase my release, whatever I'm doing, I'm getting out of here. So that's why I tend to think like, no, he's not going to be here. I don't know what the issue is with him. I mean, like I said, me and you, we talked about this recently a little bit more, and we've seen the comments by Coach Sean McDermott. It seems like it's more of a practice deal. And it seems like some point there's a trust deal where I don't know where the trust factor's not coming in. Last year it was the foot injury, right? They said it was. Then he made the trade for Rasul Douglas, and obviously we can't sleep on Rasul Douglas and his play. Rasul Douglas came to Buffalo and played ball. And Christian Benford is, like I said, we stated earlier in the show, has been playing at the very least top 10 cornerback football in the NFL at his position. So I can't get mad at the kid, but I just think that overall he won't be here past this season.
Yeah, I think if you think about it, if you could save money and not sign Douglas, not saying you got to be cheap, but you can allocate that money somewhere else, and a guy you draft in the first round, you say prove it. I think you can have it's a lot worse options you can have than Kyer Elam starting. You draft somebody in second, third round, and if they beat him out, they beat him out. But I think you roll it out next year. I think he's a Dorian Williams type. What happened with Dorian Williams? It wasn't pretty when Dorian Williams was spot duty, but when he was forced into duty when Matt Milano got hurt, it went from he was a liability, he flew around on the field and made plays, but it's like, to all of a sudden dude was leading us in tackles this year. So right. I think it's probably one of those situations where some players, some dudes you just got to let play, and then you're like, wow, that happens. It could be. I'm not saying it is. I'm more leaning on the side that it is with him. That's the case with him. Then it isn't. I think he's just somebody you got to let him play. I think next year they're going to say, listen, we drafted him in the first round. Let's see what he can do. If Douglas walks, go somewhere, get 10, 12 million, cool. You roll out Kyer Elam and you roll out Benford next year. You know you got to pay Benford. If Elam doesn't work out, then obviously he'll walk out after year 4. You draft somebody, you draft his replacement this year. If he doesn't, if he does, then you got a great problem on your hands. I think that's the approach you got to take if you the Bills.
I don't like it. I'm being honest with you. I'm like I said, and I root for Kyer Elam. But my thing is this: if you haven't found a way to play him in 3 seasons as a first round pick, and we know, I mean, the rule of quarterbacks is it takes you what? It takes 20, 21, get 20, 22 games in general to know if this quarterback is it or not. At some point, you say, I'm not rolling with Kyer Elam, and if I'm not going to resign with Sue Douglas, I'm going to go make a move to get somebody else.
Yeah.
Whether that be, like I said, I got to see my man said in the chat, possibly like an Eric Stokes, something like that. Maybe a DJ Reed from the Jets. I'm not wasting any time. I'm not going to be in a wait and see mode. I wait and saw for 3 years and he couldn't beat the competition out. I'm not waiting anymore. Maybe I'll just replace both of them.
So let me give you okay. So what year did he not beat the competition out? Because last year he was hurt.
Okay, well, but he still didn't beat the competition out.
But it's not fair to say that when he was hurt all offseason.
Okay, he was hurt. But they didn't say his foot was injured until after they started talking about his play. After they traded Rasul Douglas.
But it came out that he said that he was. It came out that he was hurt in camp. He got hurt in camp.
So he didn't. His rookie year, he didn't beat out Rasul. He didn't beat out Benford, right?
It was Benford and Trey White, right? But Trey White was hurt. So who was our other?
I forgot. If anybody remember who I.
It was Trey White. I think he got hurt during the season. That's not the Josh Norman year. Why am I drawing the damn blank? But anyway, that rookie year, my thing is this: Benford was the better player coming in. Period. I don't give a damn about the first round. People are like, oh, he's draft. I said it when the draft was over. We had a show, JT, that next day.
Right.
I said Benford is the better player. Period. Now I knew that doesn't surprise me. He didn't beat Benford out.
No,
Benford was the better player that year. I think he's still the better player. So he sit that year. He's injured year 2. Year 3, he just obviously wouldn't beat Benford. He's not better than Benford or Douglas. Like, he's not. You know.
Dane Jackson.
Dane. Yup.
Dane Jackson.
Thank you. Yep, it was Dane. So.
Dane. Yeah.
Damn, I forgot about Dane that
Appreciate
quick.
you. That's why we love the chat, man. He keeps us on the toe.
Yep. I forgot about Dane that quick. Thank you, y'all. Thank you. So, I mean, if you really look at it, JT, I mean, it's not like he lost to, like, some bums, right? Dane Jackson played some pretty good football here. And I think, Dane Jackson played good enough to go get a contract somewhere.
Well, he did.
You know what I'm saying?
No, he did. But the thing is, it's not like you're right. It's not like he lost to people who aren't playing meaningful NFL football at the position. But the fact is he still lost.
He did.
And
he did. But a rookie Kyer Elam losing to a veteran Dane Jackson and Trey White and Benford, I'm good with it. I'm good with it because I even though he was, what I look at is people look at it as where he's drafted. Me personally, I don't.
Yeah.
People like he a first round pick. He should, right? But everybody's development is different. You draft somebody to look at them in the long haul, not for the right now, right? Because you could draft somebody in the 5th round who has a better year 1 to 3 impact, then they level off and never get any better. Or you can draft somebody in the 1st, 2nd, or 3rd round who may not be as flashy that first 2 years, but then they got a 10-year career. You understand what I'm saying? So that's when you drafted somebody. So I'm looking at it the long haul. And I always knew Elam would be more of a, I don't want to use the word project, but I knew he would be a later bloomer for us. So that's why it doesn't surprise me what's happening in his career, because that's what I expected. Because especially you coming into a scheme that's the complete opposite of your strengths. His strengths is lining up, man press, running with people, right? His strength is not playing his own. He's an aggressive, he's an attack right now type person. You talking about moving somebody to safety? It's his ass that you should have thought about moving to safety, not Rasul Douglas, in my opinion. He's the one that probably would have been better suited to move to safety than Rasul Douglas or any other corner we've had. Because if you look at his skill set, he probably will fit a lot better at a safety position than any of our corners if you're talking about somebody that will move.
Right, but
that's me.
But your statement just made my point of why I'm not taking a chance going to year 4. Is because we're never gonna play the type of defense that he fits in smoothly. And I'm not saying he can't play in, but where he fits in seamlessly. We're never going to play that. Now, mind you,
I'm talking about the guy that was drafted, not the guy he is right now. Like the guy that's what I'm saying. Like that's what I'm saying. When he was drafted, that's what he was. Right?
I think he's still that guy, though.
I agree to this extent. I agree he's that guy, but he's shown by his play. He made a big play for us in the playoffs last year. He can do it in here. You get what I'm saying? So it's like you gotta just let him play to see what it is. You have to. And like I said, if we don't and we roll Rasul Douglas, we sign Rasul Douglas back, I got no beef with that. You let him trade him, I got no beef with that. But if I was the GM of the Bills, I'm allocating that money somewhere else. I'm going to draft somebody maybe 2nd round, and I'm going to say, hey, Elam, prove us that you're a baller. If not, he's the 3rd guy.
Well, let me ask you this question, okay? And this is why I think long term as far as the dollars and cents, right? let's just say you do it that way, and he does prove you wrong, and he plays well. I'm just gonna be honest. You're gonna catch hell re-signing him to a new deal.
But this is how I'm thinking. If I'm the GM, I'm getting a compository pick. If you want to, you get what I'm saying. I'm going to get the compository pick, or if you can't afford to resign Benford, which I'm just throwing out there, I think they are. No matter what, I think they're resigning Benford. But just hypothetically, as a GM, how I'm thinking, if it's me, now I got another option. Okay, if I can't sign him, I maybe can get Elam a little bit cheaper, which you probably have a little bit of a rambling with it. Okay, cool. But at the same time, don't forget what I'm saying. You're still drafting somebody second or third round. So if he does, I'm anticipating him leaving. I'm getting a compository pick for him. And if you're going to trade him anyway, you're not just going to release him. If you're going to trade him anyway, you want him to play well. You getting a pick anyway. So instead of that, play well for me. I get a higher compository pick. If you don't play well, I still, no matter what, I'm drafting that second or third round guy as his replacement. Either way, I'm getting the draft pick for him.
Right. Well, like I said, we're gonna see what happens. I personally think that the clock is running out on this situation. He has a couple games to play. I don't know what Rasul Douglas' injury status is for this week. We'll see if he plays. If not, he may have the next 3 games to really prove himself. And honestly, if he does, then maybe the situation where the Bills say, hey, maybe we play Kyle going to the playoffs. Because at that point in time, if you do that, now we're onto your theory and all is forgiven. Because then you're going to let Rasul Douglas walk. Like I said, it right time, right place.
I just don't think, JT, I honestly don't think it will hurt us if Kyer Elam is our starting corner next year. I don't think it will.
I don't think it'll hurt us. I just think that if you haven't had the faith in them in these 3 years, then now you're going to tell me, this year, now we have the faith in him, and then you're going to have to lock him up in the contract the same year you're going to have to try to lock Benford up. That's a lot.
You want to know what it's similar to? Let's be honest here. Well, it's a little different. Not a lot of people have faith in Spencer Brown the way he played a couple years ago. He proved a lot of people. I always was a Spencer Brown guy. If you remember, was that when he had coming back from the back injury, people was questioning him, JT.
Well, rightfully so, the way he was playing.
Yeah, so they questioned him. And you got to have faith in your guys and let them play. If we would have just gave up on him like, you or I, we didn't talk that way. We didn't. Just putting that out there, y'all. We didn't talk, Spencer Brown. Some Bills fans are saying, go sign the right tackle and all these panic things. If you did that, he went somewhere else, we'd be looking super stupid right now. Because he's playing as one of the best right tackles in the league right now.
I just think that the big difference is between that relationship and this relationship. I do believe there's some strain in that relationship between Kyer Elam and the Buffalo Bills.
It is, but also the good thing about a football family is they understand the business part of it as well. They understand why the Bills doing it too.
Kyle Yeager says a good point. I firmly believe Trent McDuffie was their man that year. Once he was selected, B went next to the best position instead of best player available. The following year, B drafted best player available and grabs another tight end. Always go best player available, no defensive position. And he may be right on that because they did trade up, I believe. He may be right on that. There was another good comments. Marcus Herring says the Bills play more man now than they have in past years, courtesy of the new DB coach. And he also adds that Elam was very similar to Stephon Gilmore, which I actually can see that comparison very well. The difference between the two was Stephon Gilmore got to play it immediately and all the way through. Terrell Ford says, will they be taking the risk if they win the Super Bowl? I don't know. It's gonna be, if they can win the Super Bowl, it's gonna be very interesting of what they do. Period. That changes a lot.
You know what? Because remember this: if you win a Super Bowl, anybody that's a free agent is getting overpaid.
Yep.
Think about it. Every year, the team that won the Super Bowl, they average guys get overpaid in free agency. So any free agent we got, expect and anticipate them being overpaid. So that means Rasul Douglas is damn sure going to be overpaid by somebody on a short contract. I don't know. I'm just throwing a name out there. They won't, but the Panthers type of thing, right? They're going to overpay for that, right? Like, I just think that's going to be what it is. I think you're going to roll them two out there.
Right. And I just want to go back to this point. We touched on Elam and Elam and Bishop. Fixable. What do you want to see the Bills' defense do over the next 3 games going to this playoff?
Put pressure on the quarterback. Because I think that's what it's going to come down to in the playoffs. We're going to have to put pressure on the quarterback. We're going to have to make quarterbacks uncomfortable. The main thing I want to see is these dudes get after the quarterback, period.
Same. All right, moving on. Big topic, right? I think I said on last week's show that, and I don't know if I said on the show, maybe I said on the phone. I can't remember. We talked so much, I can't remember if it's on the show or the phone. That this game versus Detroit was big for Joe Brady, just as big for Joe Brady as it was the players, because you're an OC and you're going against the other OC, and we know how recruiting works in high school and college. Sometimes you recruit, you're going to see somebody and you see somebody else. It happens all the time, right? You're going against the number one name out there for the last 2 years, Ben Johnson, the Lions. All right, everybody gonna see national televised game against a great Buffalo Bills team. They want to see how Ben Johnson was going to dial up this football game. What was he going to put out there to make the Bears, possibly the Cowboys, the Jags, all these teams willing to throw the Brinks truck at him, right? And guess what? Joe Brady goes out there and he hangs 48 points up on the Detroit Lions in Detroit. Offense didn't miss a beat all game. Used a little bit of everybody. And mind you, Amari Cooper, number one receiver on the Bills right now. 0 catches. Did this help Joe Brady move up the potential head coach ladder? Bill Belichick is already off that list. Signed with UNC.
You see how his contract written up though, right?
Who? Belichick? Mm-hmm. He can leave he can leave this year if he wants.
He can leave anytime he wants.
Yeah.
If the way it's written up is actually crazy, if you look at how that's written up. So I don't think he's off the table for nobody. He actually wrote it up so his son could just take it over.
Yeah, head coach away.
That's crazy.
Smart move.
It's a very smart move. If he was smart, he would do exactly what Ben Johnson's doing and wait for the perfect job.
Okay.
He definitely moved up. I think somebody's going to interview him this year. Will he take it? I don't think so. I think we'll have the same coordinators again next year. But this might sound crazy. I think Bobby Babich might get a job offer before him. I think he's going to be one of those guys that pop out of nowhere. Because what was it? Oh, we was talking on the phone, JT. It happened with somebody came out of nowhere. Was it the Seattle coach?
Oh, Mike, you talking about the Eagles, Jonathan Gannon?
Yeah, it was one of the coaches came out of nowhere. Nobody expected him to get a D coordinator. Was it D coordinator or O coordinator? We just were talking about it. But anyway.
Was it the Eagles that year where they had Steineck and Gannon?
Yeah, I think. No, or was it Arizona? Was it Arizona?
Arizona had Jonathan Gannon from the Eagles.
Yeah, that's what it was then.
Yeah,
it was that. And I think he could be one of those guys because around the league, father is known, he's known. I think McDermott knew to make him a coordinator now. If you think about when his player development skills, every position he's coached has excelled for us since he's been in the organization. So I think, going back to Brady, yeah, I mean, we'll be lucky to have these dudes, have him one more year. He's going to get a shot.
All right. So I'll say this, right? With the great publicity and great marketing that our quarterback Josh Allen is getting, is well deserved. He's been one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL. Also comes with the downfall of that. Right? I've said on the show for a couple of years. Every franchise quarterback gets at least three of his offensive coordinators a head coaching job. And Brian Daboll already got his. Ken Dorsey, unfortunately, supposed to be number 2. He kind of missed that. He missed that Sonic the Hedgehog ring. He got the spikes. And
the crazy thing is,
all right,
he got them dudes producing at Cleveland a little bit though.
I always talk about Cleveland.
They really are. Laugh all you want. Look at their stats.
Well, I mean, they just throwing the ball around the yard, but it is what they just benched Jameis Winston today, so they're gonna throw it around.
They producing. They producing yards.
They doing something. Turn the ball over. They doing something.
Yeah, the famous Jameis gonna do that, man.
Okay, so I would say this. I would say his name did move up a little bit. Now, personally, I did not have him getting a head coaching job this year. I know that the Vegas odds were New Orleans. I kind of see New Orleans possibly retaining Darren Rizzi at this point in time. Obviously, Ben Johnson going to have his choice at a job. And there may not be as many jobs open up this year as people thought anyway. There's a really good chance that Mike McCarthy is not fired from Dallas. But I will say this. If Mike McCarthy is fired from Dallas, Joe Brady would be a candidate. And people be like, why? Why do you think that, JT? It's because, just like a lot of the media has already said, he's the type of coach that Jerry Jones will hire. Why? Because his not big persona, not a big name, not a big bravado. He's not gonna outshine Jerry Jones. All right. So that'd be a job I'd probably be most worried about. Jacksonville is always a wild card. You really don't know what they're gonna do. Hell, I don't think they even know what they're doing as a franchise in general.
Oh my, yo, listen, JT, that may be the worst job open.
It probably is the worst job open. And I'm not, like I said, would it be smart for Joe Brady to maybe wait a season and take a job that's the perfect job like Ben Johnson? Yeah, it probably would be. But this is also a fast moving business. This is a guy who's been fired as an OC. And actually didn't get an OC job. He had to come back. He had to come to the Buffalo as not the offensive coordinator, quarterbacks coach. So this may be a guy that says, "Oh no, this is my opportunity. I'm taking it. I've been fired already."
I think he may be the opposite. I think he may be patient.
I hope so.
I think he may be, because of that Carolina opportunity. It bombed out so bad, where you got a taste of it, like you going to an organization like that's not stable. There's no stability, no culture. Like, even though you as a head coach, you establish the culture, right? But I just don't. I don't know. I just don't know. But I think I think McDermott's prepared for that move when it does happen, though.
Yeah,
we already got it announced. We got it announced.
Right, and if he has an in-house candidate, cool. If he doesn't,
you know who it is.
With the in-house candidate, who you got?
Who's our quarterback coach?
I don't even know at this point in time. I lost track of it. I ain't gonna lie to you.
Ronald Curry?
Who is it? I don't know. Ronald Curry, you're right. Yeah, there you go. Yep, you're right. Because then Ronald Curry, he interviewed for an OC job, right?
Yes, sir.
You're right, Ronald Curry. Mr. Everything, Ronald Curry. Now, if you guys don't know Ronald Curry, go look at his film, man. Yeah,
Think about it. The Bills have we got a track record of guys we've previously interviewed coming in here. Think about Ken Dorsey. We interviewed him for the OC job. He came in as a quarterback coach, ended up being OC. Brady, quarterback coach,
OC.
They're in the OC. So if I'm a betting man, I don't think they leave outside the org. He's seeing how Ronald Curry work, seeing how he do things, and then he knows what Josh likes, what Josh does well. That would probably be my guess, unless you get some crazy situation where a great offensive mind get fired as a head coach and comes here.
So when I think about that ladder, obviously I had Belichick on there. Well, he's off that ladder now. Well, for now, we don't know. We've seen him take a job and leave a job one day after it before. Ain't no telling what Bill gonna do. Mike Vrabel, Ben Johnson. I would say this. I think Joe Brady has passed Ben Slowick, Houston Texans offensive coordinator, on that list as far as.
Oh yeah.
So I think he's passed him. And depending on these last 3 games, he can pass some more people too. Josh Allen wins MVP. There's gonna be a lot of owners saying, "All right, who's calling those plays?"
Yep.
He's a young guy. He's energetic. He has rave reviews with the players. I'm hoping it next year, but it would not surprise me if it happens this offseason. We see moves like this all the time. Okay, yeah. we see the team hire Jeff Saturday off the street in the middle of the season. So listen, there's some crazy ass owners out here, and crazy things happen all the time in the NFL. Just call it like it is. Just being real about it. I told you Antonio Pierce hiring was crazy. And
you know what though? I think he's gonna be okay. I think he's gonna be okay. He's getting screwed because of bad quarterback play. I think they're gonna be okay.
Hey, listen, there's a lot of coaches that went down that rabbit hole. He better get together. He better get it quick. Because
he got to get his guy.
Yeah, he's going to be wearing those black Air Force Ones out of that stadium. That's what he's going to be doing. Carrying that box with your belongings in it. No return. Well, our shell came back a couple times.
So name your top 5 candidates this offseason for head coaching.
Head coaching job? Ben Johnson. Mike Vrabel. Um, trying to think. All right, hold on. I would say if Mike McCarthy is fired in Dallas,
That was my third one right there.
okay, I throw his name on that list. Brian Davis. No, I'm just joking. Not that guy. I'm just joking. Not that guy. I would have to say Joe Brady's on that list now as a top 5 at this point.
How about Salah?
No.
You don't think so?
No,
Think he got to go back to being the coordinator?
Brian Flores would be one of my. Those would be my 5.
Ooh, okay.
Brian Flores would be on there.
Okay.
So, but yeah, no, that's where I'm at, man. But moving on. And before we get D dot in here real quick, Dan Orlowski, ESPN Dan Orlowski, starting to like Dan Orlowski a lot, man. Saying MVP race is over. It's Josh Allen's. Vegas odds went up to plus 700 this week now after this last game. I got to ask you very quickly, do you think that the MVP race is over? You think he already has it in hand? Lamar Jackson has some great stats if you want to look. If you want to be out, if you want to look.
Yeah, it's gonna be hard to give him the MVP. They got 4 or 5 losses.
Mentor, that's a good one.
Yeah, and then Ray Cruz said Mike McDonald. They are not firing that dude. That dude is not getting fired. But yeah, I said it last week. We got receipts, y'all. My take was if Josh Allen and the Bills, he had a good game and we won, it was over. The race was over.
Yeah.
That was my take on that. I think it's over. I'm sticking by that.
I think it's over too. I just think that these last 2 games, he could come out there, modest games, 260, 250 passing, 2-3 touchdowns, and he got it. I always say this: the NFL comes down to marketing. All right. Unlike other professional leagues, they don't drop in ratings. They don't just lose money. Okay.
JT, say that again. Oh.
Okay. The NFL stands for no effing losses. That also means financially. Okay. And when we start talking about MVPs, okay, Saquon Barkley's MVP race probably ended last week. I don't know if he's going to get total yardage, but it probably ended last week. Once again, this is going to be a guy who's probably not going to play the last week of the season. As like Josh Allen, if they have nothing to play for. When you talk about Lamar Jackson, now Lamar Jackson has more rushing yards. He has more total yards. You cannot deny his impact. But when you talk about marketability and marketing, Lamar Jackson has been is almost tapped out marketing wise. Josh Allen is not. This is like the stock exchange, right? Mm-hmm. One stock is $100 a share. One stock is like 60, but room to grow. If Josh Allen wins this MVP, you know how much more money that's going to make the NFL right now at this point in time moving forward? And this is, like I said, not a knock on Lamar Jackson. When you think about the marketing, the dropped in the draft, the mother representing them, the choosing not to run in the pro day. Oh, I'm going to prove you guys are wrong. Bill Polian saying he's a receiver or running back, right? You've tapped that market out. You got him nationally known. Josh Allen national, but you haven't fully tapped out Josh's market. So if you can get him this MVP, you're going to give it to him if it's close. Why? Because it's going to make you more money. How do you know that? Bills Mafia travels to every game. Doesn't matter. Last year during the snowstorm, people were literally dying in snow in the snow piles, and these people are carpooling, driving 20 miles per hour through 4 states to go watch a football game. They travel well. There's a reason that the NFL is putting all the games at 425 now, flexing them. There's no reason to flex the Bills and Patriots, but guess what? You're setting the stage. The Patriots are terrible. No one wants to watch them but Patriot fans, and half of them have already turned the TVs off. Okay? Why do you do it? Because you're setting the stage, because you need the world to see this guy play even more. It's marketing. That's what the NFL is about. It's about marketing and money. And guess what? I don't think he's completely wrapped it up, but I think it's pretty much. I think it's on life support. I think he's almost there. So not gonna say too much more. Let's get our guy D Dot in here so we can start talking about this offensive football. This is a segment of the show I think a lot of people are starting to look for. So D Dot, we're on here. We got to talk about the offense today and Joe Brady and his play calling. We got to talk about James Cook. We got to talk about Ty Johnson becoming a big chess piece for the Buffalo Bills. So what did you see from this Lions game offensively? We put up 48 points, and we just continue just to put up points on the board. Back-to-back games, 40 plus.
Yeah, man. So appreciate you guys having me on again. So I loved how Brady came out this game. And to be honest with you, I felt as though he let Josh cook a little bit earlier. In contrast to the Rams game, it seems as though that the Bills want to try to like force feed the rushing the ball, and it seems though like the Rams were keying on that, like how we talked about last episode I was on. Right, this game, it seems though Brady wanted to lighten the box a little bit more. They had that that offset running back. You know how we talked about last time with the running back being offset wide, lighten the box. Josh is able to identify what guys may be coming, which guys maybe not. And then he was just able to freaking make plays, man. Extending the plays, seeing downfield. Like Josh's vision was super dope. I like also the split action when we got down into the red zone. The split action that Brady had. It tested the Lions' eye discipline.
Now split action. Define that.
Right. People. So tackle pull, right? Running back split. Here for for whatever inside zone or even outside zone type of play action. Josh pulls it, the quarterback keeper
follows the tackle.
Yeah, right. So you're just a split, just bad, that split action there where you got the one play where it seems as though it's the inside zone to the running back, but then you got this pulling tackle right a bit for the kick out. Then it opens up Josh, and you can see two guys actually follow with. I think it was a motion attached to that play as well. But two guys follow the to the right, and then Josh shows a gaping hole right there for Josh. I love that type of movement, right? Because it gets the defense moving side to side, and they're not able to just go forward. You're able to out leverage the defense, open up the seams, open up different holes and things for the offense. So. Brady's game plan when it came down to that was seamless, and then you could tell that the Lions were actually very, very unbalanced. Right, it seemed like they were on skates the whole entire game. And for a defense that blitz at they're blitzing at a 33% rate, is 32.8. For a defense that blitzes, I think that's the fourth highest in the league. For that and for the offense to perform the way that they did, man, it was beautiful. It was a beautiful thing to see, and I loved how Josh operated within the offense, how Brady called it.
I actually had a comment where Marcus Harris said, I wanted to wait till Brady time till we got you on. Aaron Glenn made it easy for Brady. Playing all that man coverage, just second level of the Lions defense was outmatched with their starters. The backers really had no chance, and he later on goes on to say, Babbage changed up when Bishop and Milano came out, and Spector and Jackson had to come in. The Bills played much more zone while Glenn never adjusted.
Yeah, I agree. And we all know here that football is a game of matchups, right? And it's not just the players; it's also the scheme too. If you look at why Josh would used to carve up Vic Fangio's Dolphins, man, a lot of man defense was being played in those, during those games. Josh would carve them up, and it's the same. I mean, I don't know what Fangio's blitz rate was with the Dolphins, but you would see that Josh would carve them up. Any kind of man defense, he would carve them up, and he would have career games against the Dolphins, man. It would be crazy. Like fantasy owners would love whenever Josh played the Dolphins with that defense. And I think it was the same thing right here. The only question was, would Josh be able to slide the protection the right way? With the blitz heavy defense, would he be able to pick up on those things? And he was. And we could see what this defense looks like. Well, I'm sorry, what this offense looks like when Josh is able to get those protections right. And his eyes and his feet are right. His feet were way more clean this game than last game, in my opinion.
And you said that last week. Okay. All right, moving on, man. We got to talk about Ty Johnson. Ty Johnson made a huge impact in one of the Lions. How was the Bills able to use him to exploit what the Lions were doing? And I mean, Kitten with a career day, 5 catches, 114 yards, and I believe all 5 catches were first downs.
Yeah, man. This dude is just a matchup nightmare, man. James and I have talked about this before, and we've mentioned on the show before how Ty Johnson is he's just got juice. Like that's really what it is. And this is kind of reminiscent of the Bills liking a matchup and exploiting that matchup. It's kind of reminiscent of the Seattle game. They like the matchup with Dotson in the middle of the football field. And to be honest with you, I really think I think Brady and the Bills came out and said, "Okay, Jack Campbell, you could so-called run, show us." Quan Alexander, you know what I'm saying? You're new to this defense. You made plays before, but show us what you could do out here now. And Ty Johnson basically said, "Hold that." You know what I'm saying? And they exploited that. The one play where Josh actually hit him on the wheel, I think it was a wheel route, and I actually felt as though Cooper broke open on the dig route quick. It was a small window. He opened up on the second window with the dig route, and I was like, oh, he missed him. But then Josh wound up hitting Ty Johnson, and that's just his ability, his feel for the game. I just feel as though he has a real good feel for the game. I think he has a really good chemistry with Josh in knowing where to go, when to go there, and being able to out leverage the defense. And we're just seeing it just unfold in front of our eyes, man. For the second year in a row? Because last year it was major, and this year is even more evident in my opinion.
James, running back Ty Johnson. This is a guy that we talk about a lot off air. A guy that we both think that honestly, some teams he could be a number 2 back or split with the first one, split with the starter.
Think about it. I think a lot of people sleep on him and don't understand how good of a football player he was. If y'all remember, Bills fans, a few years ago, that dude gave us problems when he played with the Jets. He came and balled out against us. And then when they beat us, Ty Johnson was a major, major factor in that loss. He tore his pec. Couldn't wait around for it. Didn't re-sign him. He ended up here. If he would have never tore his pec, he would still be a New York Jet. So don't forget that. So I don't think just because he is a free agent and we signed him for the minimum, he can't ball.
Let me hold you. He might be a New York Jet. With Aaron Rodgers there, ain't no telling who there, who not there.
That is true. That is true.
See how that worked out for you.
So when we look at it, right, I think he could be a matchup nightmare, but also you can't game plan for him. So if you put four or five plays in your game plan, that's why, for me, I know from Little League to all the way to the pros, I look at the game and I could tell if an offensive coordinator is whack or if he has a strong game plan or if he's just pulling stuff out of a hat. So Brady's dialing things up to really give people headaches because whoever would have thought we'd have lined up Aaron Glenn, I guarantee you he didn't sit down and say, all right, y'all, when they line Ty Johnson up, they're going to run a wheel route with Ty Johnson. Like, that's not something you game plan for defensively usually, right? So that's a great job by coaching your opponent. Right. If anything, you'd have thought it would have been James Cook. But Ty Johnson, I think, man, they just schemed and did some things. Now, that gives defensive coordinators one more thing to plan for. That's going to open up stuff for more for us. So, I just think he's going to be one of those X factors, and he's going to continue to make plays for us, and he's going to continue to give other defensive coordinators headaches.
And I just want to tell you guys, it was a really good stat that I looked up here. Just the snap count percentage of this game. So we do say Charles McDermott said he wanted to establish the run a little bit more and get the running backs more involved before this game. Obviously, they didn't do it in the Rams game. He wanted to make sure it happened this game. James Cook, 41% of the snaps this week. Ty Johnson, 30%. James Cook, 29 snaps. Ty Johnson, 21 snaps at 30%. Ray Davis, 18 snaps at 26%. That's you talk about mixing it up and keeping guys fresh and keeping all your running backs in the mix. It doesn't get much better than that.
You know what else people don't realize is how elite, as a rookie, Ray Davis is a pass blocking pass pro, right? Yeah. And then also Ty Johnson. The major thing when I sat down in the office with the Buccaneers in our running back room, one of the first things he said, if you can't block, you can't play. Do you realize how bad your offense alone would look if you have a running back who's a liability in pass pro? Because you are literally part of the pass pro. When the offensive line is calling out the blocking scheme, you are attached to that as a running back on third down. You are an extension of the offensive line because they're depending on where the blitz is coming from. They may attach you to a defensive end. They may attach you whoever. They may not always attach you to a linebacker. If he's an immediate threat, that guard may have to take, depending on the front, the guard may take the blitz and linebacker. You may be attached to somebody on the edge, what may turn out to be a defensive end. You don't want that to happen because that's a mismatch. But at the same time, you got to do it if it calls for that. So these guys are blocking, and that's helping protect Josh. Every week, I watch very, very talented running backs who can't pass pro, who get their ass ran over or mess up a blocking scheme. The quarterback's getting sacked, and then they say the offensive line suck. No, the offensive line don't suck. That running back who's trying to be too pretty, his ass can't block, and therefore your quarterback is getting hit. So these guys we need to give them a round of applause for the job they're doing in pass pro and helping to keep Josh Allen clean. Those guys doing a hell of a job. Ty Johnson is one of them that's doing a hell of a job of keeping Josh Allen clean.
Gotta agree. Can't disagree there. Can't disagree there. Well, like I said, I'm happy with Ty Johnson. I'm the guy we're going to have to consider in the offseason. Hey, are you going to have enough money to bring this guy back? I would love to have him back. But I think there may be some other teams watching the film, and there may be some teams that he played against this year that may say, hey, listen, we kind of want this guy on our roster next season.
I'm telling you now, if we win the Super Bowl, somebody going to give him $5 million a season.
One down.
When Rel mentioned that earlier, like, well, who was it we was talking about? I forgot, whatever. Anyway, we win the Super Bowl, those guys is going to get paid. He's going to get at least $5 million a year.
Yeah. Moving from one Bills running back to the other running back. James Cook. He's nearing 1,000 yards rushing, and he rushed for touchdowns number 12 and 13. This is the guy who last year in the red zone, we said we obviously had to take him out the last couple of years in the red zone, becoming one of our better red zone runners and maybe one of the better red zone runners in the league. James, what's the difference in James Cook this year? And he keeps hitting it, and we've been waiting for a couple of years to keep hitting that home run ball, and he's getting it over and over again. Another 40-yard.
James Cook is getting more comfortable. We realize, I don't think a lot of people realize he doesn't have a lot of live reps at running back at a high level. He didn't carry the ball out of Georgia. He didn't, so him being the main guy hasn't been a thing since high school, right? So when you really look at James Cook, you got to understand he's a guy that rookie year was learning a lot on the job. So you see last year he came back, he ran the ball. He went from didn't look comfortable his rookie year running the ball in between the tackles to he ran the ball like a grown man in between the tackles, right? Now you come into year 3, all of it's coming together. That's why I think if you're going to pay him, you got to pay him now, because if you don't pay him now, you're not going to be able to afford him year 4. So I think this is the offseason you got to pay him, because I think he's going to make another jump next year, and that's the back he'll be year 4 through year 8 is who he'll be. I think you're going to have a 4-year gap of him being a really, really good, like, elite type running back, because he's going to put it all together next year. I think it's there now, but I think it's going to turn up a notch next year. So that's why I think it's really, really important. If you really want to see him as part of your future, sign him this off season. 12, 13 touchdowns is nothing to sneeze at, man. That is really, really good. So he's probably going to end the year about 15, 16 touchdowns. Yeah. So that dude is balling, man. I can't believe he's running the ball and spin in between the tackles the way he is. I never thought he would be running the ball like the way he is in between the tackles. I ain't going to lie to y'all. I didn't think he would. That's a major, major improvement. I personally haven't seen it. A jump. Like, if you look at year 1, him running between the tackles to now, you wouldn't even think that's the same back.
Trying to bounce everything year 1.
You wouldn't even think it's the same back.
So, D-Dot, what is Joe Brady? How are they using James Cook to get all this efficiency that they're getting from him?
Yeah, I agree with James. I think it's a testament to James Cook's development, his feel within the offense. You could tell he just has a great feel for when to press the hole, when to get vertical, and when to accelerate through the hole. Talked with James about this before when we're working out, man, and it's just like comparison to last year. Last year, James will point out, he'll be like, yeah, he missed this hole. And I'll be like, oh, he did? Because it's from running back eyes, you know what I mean, as opposed to, quarterback's eyes or what have you, right? So, but it seems as though now he has a better feel for setting it up, when to stick his foot in the ground and accelerate. And we're seeing that, with these chunk plays that he's getting. Um, Also, what I think is helping him is being able to have that addition of Ty Johnson in the passing game. Because last year, I mean, Cook, everybody was talking about Cook being that outside zone type guy, and then in the passing game, had a couple drops or what have you. Now Ty Johnson seemingly is taking that over, and even Ray Davis has served. You know what I mean there, and it seems as though now that whenever defenses now are trying to make their adjustments to whatever the offense is running, now it's opening up these lanes, and now it's like James Cook's eyes are like, saucers, man, with him being able to run through these holes. So I think it's a combination of development, feel within the offense, comfortability within the offense, and then also Josh getting him into the right play as well. Get him into the right play when there's a lighter box, whatever these defenses have as far as the leverages are concerned, and making sure that they're running the plays to be able to get these chunk plays and be able to, stay ahead of the stick, so to speak.
I want to give a couple of stats here for. I'm going to add 204 says personally, importance of a guy like Mike Hollins in the run game can't be forgotten, 110%.
Yes,
Yep.
sir.
And we talked about that specifically last week about Matt Collins and his play. But his rookie year, 3 broken tackles all year. 2023, 8 broken tackles for the entire year. 2024, 13 broken tackles. That shows you the body of work that he's putting on off the field. The difference in getting his body ready and the change. Okay.
You know what that is too, though.
Yeah.
Is being able to set up your runs and be able to turn people into bad tacklers. So what I teach my running backs, player development now, right? As a running back, it's your job to turn people into bad tacklers, right? Running into the weak arm, redirecting your body, planting your foot in the ground, getting vertical, right? Instead of allowing somebody to square you up, turn them into one-arm tacklers, right? Instead of you squaring them up, just running heads up with them, you giving them a move, you planting your foot in the ground, you getting vertical, boom, 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 a 45-degree cut. That's all my guys. Any running back that I train, we work on our 45-degree cuts. That got to become natural. If you look at the cuts he's making, all his cuts are vertical. Vertical cuts turn people into bad tacklers, right? So if you turn the guys into bad tacklers, they miss tackles. Not too many guys in the NFL are going to be squared up, run up to tackle you, and miss the tackle. It's not going to happen. Worst case scenario, what they'll do is they may not get you down initially, but they're going to hold you up, and their teammates going to finish you off. It's not a missed tackle. But what you see is James Cook is turning people into bad tacklers. What he's understanding is when you run in between the tackles, you understand. You get what I'm saying? These angles that you're taking, right? You got to understand how to get vertical, what you doing, how you setting it up. That backside scraping linebacker, how he's coming, what angle he's coming at, right? How can I make him miss? How can I turn him into a bad tackler? How can I not allow him to square me up to where I'm falling forward instead of me getting 3 yards, I fall forward for 4? It's the little hitting yards like that that makes a difference, right? So when these guys are instead of them teeing off and just screaming down at you, running at that downfield hip, these guys are coming at you on a different angle. Now you see more guys sitting in the chair. Now you can make these guys bad tacklers because they have to think they can't just square with. That's why, if you notice now, there's not a lot of big power backs in the NFL. There's not, because you don't see we talked about another day, JT, a Bam Morris, right? You don't see a Peyton Hillis, right? You don't see those big guys that just run forward, right? They're you gotta have some wiggle with you, because these dudes are so talented now that they flying in, boom. It ain't even about tackling you one man, it's gang tackling. They're so good at that now in the NFL that those guys are just kind of like, it's not a thing anymore, right? Their careers gonna be so short, and they're not gonna be effective. So you gotta have guys that be able to move, and they really have really good hips, and they turn people into bad tacklers. So any running back, that's why it drives me crazy when I watch high school football around here. We got some of these dudes who think I'm gonna go there, but they're not teaching these guys properly how to turn people into bad tacklers. Anybody can just see the hole and it's open and go. It doesn't take much talent to do that, right? But when you see somebody like who developed their game over 3 years and turn people into bad tacklers, that's what make them elite. And just rails in there. So when I was younger and when Rel was younger and I was helping with his development, I'm helping him develop as a football player. When he got to senior year of high school, it wasn't even about his talent. He just outthought every single person on the football field, where it turned into almost a joke. And then that's why it would turn him into when he went from a running back to a wide receiver. When he catches the ball, he turns people into bad tacklers. That made him an elite kick returner, punt returner. That's why current day he's an elite punt returner, kick returner. Why I think he's one of the best 15 on the planet. I stand by that. He'll show that this arena season. When he gets the ball, he understands angles and how to make people bad tacklers. So that's what James Cook is doing, and that's what's making him really, really good. And he's going to be even better with it next year.
Let's cover before we move on. A couple more stats here. Obviously, I gave you guys broken tackles, but drop percentage. Obviously, a guy that had 6 drops as a pass catcher last year, and we know there was a couple touchdowns he dropped as well. This is a guy this year, rookie year 9.4% drop percentage. Last year 11.1%. This year 5.7%, only 2 drops. QB rating 103 when targeted, but he's been targeted 35 times a year, 29 receptions, 11 first downs. So overall, just a more efficient year for James Cook, and obviously he's still fresh because of the three backs.
That's what makes him dangerous, JT and D-Dot. That's what makes him dangerous. And I'm just saying this again. We always keep receipts, JT. If we don't pay him this offseason, you ain't gonna be able to afford him after year 4.
You're probably right.
Don't price out. So I think you got to pay him this year if you want to.
Right. So, last topic of the night, and like I said, we're not going to do too much on the Bills Patriots. We'll just give some score predictions we want. But Allen continued his tear with 4 more touchdowns this week. And if I'm not mistaken, it brings his grand total to, let's see, over the last 3 games, 6, 4, and then I think he had 4 if you count the touchdown. He had 2 touchdowns on 1 play with the receiving. That is 14 touchdowns in the last 3 games. D-Dot, what are you seeing from Josh Allen? I know you already mentioned having his feet clean, but overall, what are you seeing from his play that is just tear is just ridiculous?
Yeah. My thing with Josh is his mechanics. And James already knows I'm a stickler for mechanics, man. Mechanics and footwork. I'm a stickler for that. During the Rams game, right? Josh was mechanically he was unsound, point blank and simple, in my opinion. This game, way cleaner, and that even tied into the more efficient throws. You even see the touch throws that he had. The touch throw to who was it? Dawson Knox. Yep, to Knox. The other one that he had to, I believe it was one of the running backs. I think it was Ty Johnson. I can't remember, but it was these touch throws, man. And a couple of them, you're kind of like, oh, you made him a little bit tougher than he needed to be. No, as a matter of fact, Ray Davis. It was Ray Davis. I think it was it was in the red zone for the touchdown, I believe. Okay. But either way, these touch throws, man, and a lot of that is where your mechanics have to be on point. Your leverages have to be on point. Your sequencing has to be on point. And we could see that the ball was where it needed to be and when it needed to be there. I also love the fact that, you know what I mean, when Josh is escaping, he's escaping to be able to buy that time. And as a matter of fact, the throw to Keon Coleman, when he escaped to the sideline, you could see those defensive linemen, they didn't want to tee off on dude. That's a weapon that he has now in his bag to where you get to that sideline. They know you're nearing there, you throw it, but you're also drawing that penalty. He wound up getting it anyway. But it's still a thing. It's still a thing where is Josh, he's escaping to be able to see where the defense is not leveraged, to see where the offense is actually gaining more leverage on the defense, and he's making these spectacular plays. I think Josh has more of an understanding of how a defense is trying to defend him, and how he can come up with that answer, for that. So even in the training aspect, when me and James talk about player development, I teach our quarterbacks all the time, the defense is going to be the defense. They have whatever equation, you have to solve that equation. Offense is always going to have the answer. That's how the league is built now. That's how the game is built, to be honest with you. You have to be able to find the answer and be able to provide that and get the ball to your playmakers' hands. And that's what Josh is doing. And I just love how he's doing it and how Brady is calling it. And it seems as though they're in sync at the right point in time.
I'm saying, J Val, what are you seeing from Josh, man?
I think it's simple as they're playing to his strengths. Whenever you play into somebody's strengths, right? You're comfortable. Football don't have to always be rocket science. Like some people make it harder than what it need to be. Know what you have, play to your strengths. I think that's why the Bills are very successful this year. I think this is why Josh Allen's successful, right? You don't have to force the ball at anybody. You taking what the defense give you, and you just doing you, right? So I think that's what he's doing. He's doing that at an elite level, man. And obviously we have to go there and up that pay too, because that dude is playing on another. He's on another planet right now. I don't think it's a better quarterback in the NFL right now. The way he's playing this season, Josh Allen, he's the best player. He's the best quarterback in the NFL. No ifs, ands, or buts about it, in my opinion. That dude is balling.
I said it last week or the week before that when I talk about the relationship with him and Sean McDermott, and this is the play that Sean McDermott wanted, meaning he's balanced. You have a coordinator that's giving him balance, giving him options. You have 3 running backs. You have multiple receiver options. You have 2 tight ends. Um, you're sacked almost the least. He may be the least sacked quarterback in the NFL, I believe.
Yeah,
Getting,
yeah, they barely touched that dude.
they're in the bottom 3 or bottom 4 of QB hits in the league. He's not getting touched. Um, he's being more careful when carrying the football. We talk about James Cook being fresh. Josh Allen, this is probably the freshest Josh Allen has been at this point in the season since he came to the Buffalo Bills. Um, this is a guy who's having fun. So maybe the subtraction of Stephon Diggs was the addition that they needed to that locker room. Now, mind you, it wasn't just the subtraction of Stephon Diggs that made it work. It was also the trade of Murray Cooper, and also the signing of Mac Hollins. Okay, also the second-year development of Dalton Kincaid, the drafting of Keon Coleman. Well, it wasn't just the subtraction of Stephon Diggs. Let's just be real about that. But I will say that it's a guy who is leading now. I think it's more ownership over what's happening with this team. It's more ownership over this offense. There's one voice now. It's Josh's voice. Well, it's 2 voices. It's Josh and Joe Brady, but it's in unison finally. Okay? I think he sees the vision. I think he sees what McDermott wanted for him, what Brandon Beane wanted for him. And he's all in. And I think that offense is all in. And listen, man, they say everybody eating. They right. Everybody on this offense is eating. That's the mantra, and they're right. Now it took them by getting to Murray Cooper to open everything up for everybody, to make sure everybody could eat. Okay? And even with 0 catches, he still impacted that football game. Let's be real about it. I think this is a guy who just is taking over and has all full accountability and leadership of this offense. Is his. And he's an unquestioned leader. And I think that's basically what it boils down to. And hell, right now, they can't be stopped. And it's got to continue going. So, with that being said, guys, this Patriot game, it's a 4 game the Bills need to win. Patrick Mahomes will be playing with a high ankle sprain. They're not out of that race for that number 1 seed, but definitely 3 games they got to win. They starts with this one this week. We don't want to overlook the Patriots. Score predictions, J Mal, what do you think? The Bills got to win this game, or how they win it, and what's the score prediction?
It's gonna be a cold game.
Is
it's
it?
supposed to be
I
like
don't know whether.
10 to 12 degrees.
Oh,
As long as it's snow or nothing like that, I don't think that's as a player, that's not too big of a deal. Once you get playing, it's like it's whatever. Long as the wind ain't crazy, it's no rain, now your jersey wet and it's 10 yeah. But anyway, my prediction is going to be, I was thinking 38-17. I'll give them a little bit more respect than that. I respect their mind, so I'm gonna go 38-20.
all right. D-Dot, what the Bills got to do to win this football game, and the score prediction.
Yeah, I'm glad that James didn't take that number, man, because mine 31-17. But yeah, 31-17. I think as long as the Bills put pressure on Drake May, which Sean McDermott is actually good at doing typically with rookie quarterbacks. And keep him within the pocket. Don't let him run around all crazy, because that dude, he's got a pair of decent legs. You know what I mean? No weird stuff. With running the ball. I think they'll be successful with 31-17 Bills.
Okay. This one, I think this one's going to get out of hand quick. I think it's in Buffalo. The game's in Buffalo, right? It was in New England. It was in Buffalo,
Yes.
right? Buffalo. I just think this offense can be stopped right now. I just don't think. I think the Patriots are a team that they're searching for answers. Obviously, we know it would be a rebuilding for a year and new coach Rob Mayo, but unfortunately, in a football field, you don't get spared. So therefore, I think the Bills are going to win this game, and I think they're going to win it pretty easily, 41-17. I'm going to go 3 games in a row with 40 plus points. I think they're going to ensure that Josh Allen gets that MVP rate, that MVP trophy. With this win here and a decisive one at that. I think you're gonna make sure you get James Cook closer to that 1,000. And we talked on the phone earlier about Khalil Shakir, who's about 225 yards away from that 1,000 yards. So I think you're gonna focus on some of those guys. You're gonna focus on some of those incentives this week a little bit. Okay. Yep. Bonus money is on the line now. Okay, all across the league. Incentive time. This is sometimes how you lose the trust of players. By not making sure they get them bonuses, that $250K, that $550K.
The money Pagula making this year, he can afford to chop out them bonuses.
Oh yeah. I walk by that stadium. He got some money, man. That structure's going up pretty quickly. But on that, man, guys, great show. I think we talked about a little bit of everything. Let's see if I missed any questions here. Early Walker says, Waller says, I hope I'm not way off base, but it wouldn't surprise me seeing when the Bengals look at him. You talk about Joe Brady. I think the Bengals are rolling back with Zach Taylor.
No reason to fire him. There was some weird stuff that happened this year. I think he get a pass.
Yeah.
Yeah, Burrow's been balling too, though, on the offensive side. To be real, their numbers haven't been bad. Their defense has been crazy, bad.
Terrible. Gotta fix that. Terrible. Kyle Yeager says the Raiders will be drafting the quarterback. I think they'll grab a new coach to grab the quarterback. I think that he was referring to possibly Joe Brady. That is another situation that the Raiders been known to do some stuff. You know what I mean? It's crazy things. So Joe Brady is the one that you can look at. Tom Brady's gonna Tom Brady's gonna have a lot of input on who they bring in there. Believe it or not, on this one. Okay. We'll see. So Kebby says, so my question is, well, why did Bean draft Elam if we don't use the strength? That don't make any sense. I think sometimes you draft players because you believe you can develop them.
Yes. That's all, it's all about development. You trust your staff. If somebody has a great skill set, I mean, you just don't draft them. You know what I'm saying? Like, dude is a baller. It's not like, I can't say Bean and McDermott has drafted anybody that came here that just was a bad football player. Like, Elam isn't even like, let's be real. We're talking about a guy who's fell short on expectations, but we can plug him in as a starter, and he still plays really well. We can trust this guy enough. We started him in the playoffs last year, and he made plays for us. So it's not like it's all bad here either.
Right. And Ray Cruz actually a good question. Doesn't Elam resemble Rasul Douglas? You know what? He does resemble or younger Rasul Douglas a lot. But I will say this. It took Rasul Douglas about 2 to 3 teams, about 2 stops to get land on his feet solidly. Just saying.
But, yeah, I mean.
But he did.
He did, but he still got paid, though. You know what I'm saying? Because it's. Yeah. I can see where he's going with that.
Yeah, he resembles a lot. I mean, he right, he does. But, like I said, just with that being said, he did take him a couple stops. Other than that, man, guys, great show. We should be back either. Actually, I think I'm gonna try to. With next week being Christmas and Christmas Eve and all that stuff, I know everybody be shopping. I think I'm gonna try to make it a point to go live Sunday night after the Patriot game tonight and just go live right. Probably somewhere around 8, 9 o'clock. Just get in here, get it on the road.
I could swing that because my daughter, she don't have to go to bed early because there's no school on Monday. I'm on vacation. So I
think it'll be easier just to try to do this on Sunday, and get that show out the way. Then maybe we'll come back later in the week, do a preview of the Jets. Maybe we won't. But I think we're gonna try to go Sunday right after the game, somewhere around 8, 9 o'clock. So on that, any final thoughts, D-Dot?
Nah, man, appreciate you guys having me on. Always fun talking ball with you guys, and hopefully the Bills dominate on Sunday and keep staying ramped up going into this playoff run.
That's it, J-Mal.
Hey, it's gonna be some fun football to watch on was it Sunday at 4:25 we playing? Yeah. They flexed it to 4:25, so let's get it.
Hey, Saturday, the Ravens and Steelers play on Saturday. That big implications on that game there. If we in our reality, we need the Ravens to kind of win that game.
What time they play on Saturday?
I think they play at 10 o'clock in the morning. I think they play at 10 o'clock in the morning.
In the morning, 10 o'clock.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wait,
I'm almost
you sure?
positive. I'm pretty sure. I can look it up. I'm almost positive that they play at 10
They
o'clock.
play at 1.
I'm almost positive. I'm almost positive that.
I got a busy day Saturday.
Wait, maybe I'm wrong.
No, it's 4:30 p.m.
4:30. I'm sorry.
I was about to say, JT, them dudes would be. That mean they'd be warming up at 7 a.m.
Well, I that's what I thought they play. What time did the Texans Chiefs play? They play at 1 o'clock. Okay, sorry. I've been looking at West Coast time. I don't know. I don't mind.
You used to looking at those overseas game times, JT. That's what it is.
Yeah. That's what it is.
These games on Saturday.
No, what he did was he looked at the
I think I looked at West Coast
Pacific time.
Because you know what they had on that? What they had on there? Because I think those games are on Netflix, right? Or something. No, those games. No, never mind. I'm thinking about the wrong games. Never mind.
I won't be able to watch none of them. We got a busy day Saturday. I got our Buffalo Vets football banquet. Then we got our UAS practice after. So yeah, it's a wash for me to watch.
Don't mind me. But big in place in that game. We really kind of need the Ravens to win that game to get the strength between the Steelers. But the Chiefs game. The Chiefs lose that game, especially with Mahomes being injured. It's going to get real interesting over the last couple of weeks because then the Chiefs got the Steelers and I believe they got the Broncos again. That number 1 seed going to be right in play. So we got to handle our business. Other than that, man, great show. We'll be back most likely Sunday night. Stay tuned for that. Other than that, catch you guys later. Have a good night. Be safe out there. Catch you later. Peace.